The other thing that I wanted the second case study is on the very exciting topic of VAT. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, one, it's very topical because there's been some huge changes from 1st of January this year. And two, it seems to be really pertinent to startups who think that there are no boundaries in the world. The world, you can just sell to anywhere in the world with no ramifications whatsoever. And it's a really big mistake to make. Again, really important. And in fact, I mean, I will talk about these guys' diet point in a minute. But just as a side, just to show you how crazy this is. I mean, in January, just to reiterate, in January, the rules changed for the supply of digital services. Now, you may have heard this is because of Apple, and they were based in Luxembourg, and the original supply of services was always based on where you supply the service. So what that meant was Apple based themselves in Luxembourg, and they supply the services, and you download the app in the UK or France or Germany, but they only ever paid VAT in Luxembourg. And the EU weren't happy about this, and they said, hang on, you know, the UK is losing out on that revenue, and France is, and Germany, and all these other countries are losing out on that revenue, so we're going to swap it around, change it around, and we're going to say, you know what, it's no longer based on where the supply is, it's now based on where someone actually receives the product, receives the digital service. And this is only for digital services to consumers. So this isn't business to business or anything else. This is just VAT digital services to consumers. And this is obviously quite a wake-up call, crazy for actually small startups. This is great for getting revenue from Apple. But for startups, when you suddenly think, hang on a minute, if I sell something, and we're not talking apps, we're talking other digital services, you're selling something to another country, and someone in another country takes it, it's now the VAT is where that person is registered. So have I got to register for French VAT and for German VAT and all these other countries' VAT? It's a really, really big problem. And I mean, I had an example last week with a client who they compile reports on a monthly basis on a specific subject, and these reports are then downloadable, and you pay £99 for the reports. What's interesting is what's considered a digital service, because these are rules, again, remember, they only apply to digital services. If you're not supplying a digital service, and what digital service means is there's no human interaction with your service. So if your product that you're selling is entirely automated, and you're going to be supplying it to countries in Europe, you will be affected by these rules.